Thank you very much, Director of Ceremonies. I want, first of all, to recognize the organizers of this convention and thank them for inviting me to attend this event, and especially for the honor and privilege to be part of this opening ceremony. I acknowledge the presence of the Controller General of Patents, Trademarks, and Register of GIs, and Mr. Prasad, and all other dignitaries that are here present today. Ladies and gentlemen, 500 years ago, the European conducted what then was called discoveries of Africa and America on their way to India for the spices. Now that the geography of innovation is once again pointing to the east, and India is considered a new frontier, I want here to emphasize that once again, Africa is the next frontier. This time, not by incident, but deliberately. Africa is rising. If you look to the statistics, amongst the 10 most fast-growing economies in the world, we find African countries. The market is growing, and the continent is spending nearly $900 billion and is projected to grow to at least 1.4 trillion in 2020. Countries like Nigeria, Tanzania, Ethiopia, Mozambique, Cote d'Ivoire, and Chad, they grow at the pace of 7 to 9% of their GDP every year. There are huge opportunities opening up in various sectors such as mining, retailing, telecommunications, infrastructure development, agriculture, banking, to name just a few. On the other side, the African countries are taking seriously the importance of innovation. The Global Innovation Index, developed by WIPO and the other partners in its last edition of 2014, singled out what the so-called innovation learners. Now, 50% of those innovation learners are in Africa, and the majority of them are members of the organization that I'm privileged to lead, ARIPO. All these developments shows that more and more the continent will need protection in terms of intellectual property for the homegrown innovation and to attract foreign innovation. And this is the reason why, since TRIPS was established, African countries made deliberate efforts to establish adequate legal and institutional framework on IP. Today, all African countries have IP office, legislation that is post-TRIPS and therefore modern and TRIPS compliant, and enforcement of IP rights have been observed. There are a number of initiatives to enforce intellectual property rights and to punish those who are violating intellectual property rights. IP was recognized in many African jurisdictions as the driving force for innovation and development, and therefore many countries has now IP national strategies and policies in order to guide the development of the IP system in their countries. In many jurisdictions, newly established IP courts are in function, securing enforcement of IP rights. So I'm here today to urge the vibrant and dynamic Indian industry that there's a market in Africa, and your intellectual property rights are secured there. As Director General of ARIPO, the African Regional Intellectual Property Organization, I'm here to assure you that you can easily protect your patents, your trademarks, the industrial designs and the utility model through the repo route. A number of Indian companies are already using this route for the protection of their intellectual property rights. But I believe, judging from the numbers that the IP office here in India is receiving, there's much more to be protected. Through the repo route, your protection can be extended to 19 African countries. In February, we'll be inaugurating a new system for online for e-services, so it will be possible to file online a registration. We also believe a lot in education, awareness on IP. And one of our most important contributions to the development of the IP system in Africa is a master degree on intellectual property that we're offering jointly with the World Intellectual Property Organization and a local university. We have trained in the last 6 years more than 170 people from different countries. These people, they're making a lot of difference in their countries in terms of intellectual property. We have a lot to learn from India and from the Indian innovation system, and we have a huge market for India in Africa. Africa is indeed the next frontier. I want to wish you to finalize fruitful deliberations, and I thank you once again for your attention.